Dear students, in our previous class we have discussed regarding protected access specifier, members of the class and member functions. Under member functions we have discussed two types. One is inside the class definition and one more is outside the class definition. Now come, we shall discuss regarding the characteristics of member function. The characteristics of member functions. Come, we shall see here what are the characteristics of a member function. The first one is type and number of arguments. In the member function, type and number of arguments in the member function is the same as type and number of data. Type and number of data declared in class definition. Here, type and number of arguments. Arguments means these are things which are given inside the bracket of a function. Those things are called arguments. For example, void, get data, and inside a given argument, that is int I. So this thing is called as an argument. So here, type of argument and the number of arguments, in the member function, this is the member function, is same as the type of data, which is declared in the class. This is the first characteristic of member function. And the second one is the symbol. This one, 2 colons. This is not semicolon. There are 2 colons. Is known as scope resolution operator. As we have discussed in our previous class, that is scope resolution operator. While declaring a member function outside the class definition, at the time we will use this scope resolution operator. So this 2 colon symbol is known as scope resolution operator. Then usage of scope resolution operator along with class is the header of function definition. Usage of scope resolution operator with the class, it will represent the header of function definition. And then the scope resolution operator identifies the function as a member of particular class. Okay, here the scope resolution operator identifies the function. It will identify the function as a member of particular class. If we take as example, if we take one member function which is used under a class by name data, then if we use this scope resolution operator outside the member function, at that time we will do void then the class name, that is data. After that, scope resolution operator, then if we use get data, we will use get data and then open and close parenthesis. So it indicates that okay, the member, that is get data, is present in a particular class by name data. Okay, I will write here. We are using a member function, okay, outside the class. Void class name is data. Then after that, scope resolution operator, then get data. Okay, then open and close. This means it indicates, the scope resolution operator indicates that okay, this get data is a member. It is a member of. It means identifies the function. It is a member function. So the scope resolution operator identifies that get data function is a member of a particular class by name data. Okay, so this is the use of the scope resolution operator. So these are the two characteristics of member functions. Come, we shall see the third characteristic. We shall see the third characteristic. The third characteristic is that several classes can use the same member function or the function name. Okay, it is the function name. The same function name. Okay, remember this. Several classes can use the same function name and membership label resolve their scope. It means, okay, we will take an example, a class by name data, okay, and one more class by name test. Both are using public data type as, okay, void get data. Here also public void get data. Okay, See, both the classes are having same function name, member function, but membership label, that is the class name, is different. So in that situation, with the help of scope resolution operator, okay, after closing a class void, okay, here it is data, then void get data, okay, and after that here it is, look, void class name is test and void, sorry, we are no need to write void here, just write get data, get data. Here also the same thing, after scope resolution operator, just write get data. See, this membership is different in the classes. So by the membership of the classes, it will resolve the problem. Okay, so this is the use of the member function, and we shall see the last point. The last point is the last point here is member function can access, member function can access, member function can access private data of a class, private data of a class, but a non-member function, a non-member function cannot, a non-member function cannot. See, member function of that class only read or access the data of that class, okay, and non-member function of this class will not access the private data of this class. Just like I have written two classes, one is data, another one is test. Okay, one is data, another one is test. The member function or the data which is present under private data, which is present under class by name data. Okay, and that data will not be accessed by the class test, and the private data which is present under the class test will not be accessed by the member functions of class data. So this is the meaning here. So come we shall see how can we use, okay, the member function outside the class definition. So now I am going to write a symbol and a syntax and a programming segment to represent the member function outside the class. To represent the member function outside the class. Now I am going to write that thing here. Okay, here is, see, syntax. How can we write the member function outside the class definition? That is return type, okay, then after that class name, then scope resolution operator. After that, this is member function, okay, and in bracket arguments then here it is open and function body, and after that close this brackets like this. Okay, the member function can be defined outside the class definition. This is the syntax for defining a class outside the member function. Now I am going to write one program segment for this syntax. Come, we shall see how we can define the member function outside the class. Okay, we will take a class for addition and multiplication of two numbers. Addition and multiplication of two numbers. We can take that class as operation. This is example. Okay, then class operation. Okay, then open class here. Okay, under private we will take two things. First is private, then we will take two things. One is int A and one more is int B. And under public we will take two things. Okay, one is get data, another one is display or put data. Or we can take some other. Int sum, we can take like this. Then int product. Why I am taking some product here? Because we are doing addition and multiplication of two numbers by defining the member function outside the class. So after these two things, close the class here. Okay. Then start. How can we define the member function outside the class? Okay, we will take int, integer type, then class name, that is operation. Then after that, so int operation, that is name of the class. After that, scope resolution operator. Then give the first member function, that is sum. Sorry, this cannot be given here. Sum. Okay. Then after that, start its working part. We are doing sum means addition. Then return these two, a plus b. Okay, a plus b. Then close the first operation, that is addition. Okay, then after this, the second thing, int product, int operation, then scope resolution operator, then product. Okay, after that open this. Then we are doing product here. So for that thing, return A into B, because it is product now. So this program segment will explain to you that these member functions, okay, we have used outside the class. One thing is here and one more thing is here with the help of scope resolution operator. Like this, we can define the member function outside the class. Hope you have understood this. Now come to the next thing, that is definition of object of a class. So far we have discussed regarding classes. Now we are moving to objects. Definition of object of a class. How can we define an object? Earlier, by the starting of classes and objects, I have explained and I have written a small point regarding the object. Okay, defining object of a class. Defining object of a class. How can we define an object? Okay, first point, an object is an instance of a class. Is an instance of a class. Okay, I have written by starting classes and objects. An object is an instance of class. Sometimes an object can be called as instance variable. Can be called as instance variable. Object can be, sometimes that object can be called as instance variable. When I will write the syntax and a programming structure, then you will understand what is object and how it can be used in a program. Okay, the next thing. An object is normally defined. An object is normally defined in the main function. Normally defined in the main function. Object is normally defined in the main function. Under the main function, we will define an object. Okay. Now I am going to write the syntax of defining an object. How can we define an object in a program? That is our third point. So we will take a class. Okay, I am writing syntax. Class. Then after that, class name. Okay, class. Then open this. After that, private. Under private, what will do? Member data. Okay, member data. Then after that, public. Under public, what we will do? Member functions. Then now, what we have to do now? Close the class here. Class is closed. After closing the class, we have to define the object here. Okay, see how an object can be defined. Then class name, then objects we will define here, just like object 1, object 2, as needed, object up to object n. Okay, outside the class definition, but inside the main function we will define the object. Okay, now I am going to write one, or we can do this one like this. Here, just use the class name. Okay, no need of class and class name again and again 2 times. Just use one time class name, object 1, object 2, up to object n. Now I will write a programming structure for defining an object, and then we will come to know how can we define an object and in which place actually we will define an object. Come, we shall see by writing a programming structure and write down it as an example. Write down this as example. So we'll take this operation as number. Okay. Example. To define a class. Okay. Number. class number open, then private, and private part member data int x, okay, then int y. Take this as capital X and capital. Then under private, public. After private, it is public. Under public, we will give two things: member functions. Okay. Give them as int sum. Okay. Along with them, give the arguments in space p, then int space q, semicolon. Then int, again product of these two, product. Then same thing here, int space p comma int, then space q. After that, close the class. Now the class is closed. Then after closing a class, now we will start the main function. Okay, int main. Okay, usually everywhere after starting a main function, open a brace. Okay, or else if you are not seeing here, I will write there upwards the main function. After closing this, we'll start here int main. Okay, then open this. After that, take class here, that is class name is number. Okay, then objects. We will take objects as, okay, S1 and S2. Or we can take objects as S, okay, and P, because S is for addition, P is for product. So see, these things are the objects here. Okay, now we will use object just S dot sum. Okay, what we will do in sum? Give the number 20, 30. Okay, doing addition of these two numbers. Then for product, let take the object of product, that is p dot product. This is 3 and 5. Then after that, get ch. Then close the program. Like this, we can define an object. See, these two things are the objects we have defined in the main function, and we have table objects here. One is the S, the another one is the P. That is, we have written object 1 and object 2. This is class name, then object 1, object 2. Like that I have written up to objects N. The same way here, those objects are again carried out for the calculation purpose. Okay, like this we can define an object in the main function of a program. Hope you have understood what actually the object is and what is the class. Okay, this object is an instance of class. Instance of class means we have taken number as class name. See, one more thing I will explain. Number, this is the class name. Okay, and we are taking number inside the main function. It means this name number includes the complete class. Okay, and we will use the complete class with the objects. These are the instances of class. And instead of using everything, the complete class, instead of using the complete class everywhere with these member functions, we will make use of objects with the class so that we can reduce the length of the program, and so that we can reduce the complexity of the program, so that we can make the program easy. So for that thing, we will use objects with the class. Understood? Okay. Now come, we shall see one more thing, that is arrays as members of classes. We have discussed arrays in data structures. Now we are going to discuss those arrays as members of classes. How can we use arrays as members of classes? How can we use arrays as member of class? Arrays as members of classes. Arrays as members of classes. Now I am going to define this. Primary data values are the members of class are the members of class. Primary data values means the data members. Okay, they are the members of the class. Same as this, just like arrays within structures. Just like this, okay, we will use arrays within structures. Arrays within structures. Just like we will use arrays within structures. Okay, and then it is possible to use. It is possible to use arrays as the member data of class. Arrays as member data. Arrays as member data of class type. Okay, it is possible, as we think that primary data values are members of class. Primary data values means the member data. They are considered as the members of class. And the same way, just like structures, arrays can be used with structures as primary data considered as a member of the class. The same way, the arrays with structures, they are used with structures. If arrays are used with structures,